You know who's a great example of this, by the way? Ben Shapiro. Whether or not you agree with his politics, he's all over television, all over the radio, all over the internet, a very public personality. And he wears his kippah. Even though he finds himself in the diaspora, he's not oppressed by other people's opinions. Okay, friends, we are back. The Jewish people are finally on the brink of being liberated. The exodus of Egypt is about to take place. The birth of the Jewish nation is about to occur. And prior to the liberation, the night before, the Jewish people are commanded in the Torah to gather together and have a Passover Seder, a Pesach Seder, and celebrate. And at the Seder, there's the Passover ram that they have slaughtered and that they're commanded to eat together. But interestingly enough, the Torah instructs us specifically how to prepare this lamb. The Torah tells us that it's prohibited to eat it boiled. Don't eat it boiled. It must be flame roasted. As if God cares not only what we eat, but how we eat it. Why is that such a big deal? Why is it such a big deal that the meat has to be roasted, has to be flame broiled? It cannot be boiled. It sounds like a very minor detail in the larger scheme of things, celebrating our freedom, exiting Egypt, becoming a nation, living as free people. But that ain't happening if your meat's boiled. It's got to be roasted. Why is that such a big deal? There are a lot of commentaries that actually address this. I'd like to focus on one angle by the Ibn Ezra. The Ibn Ezra explains that the sheep were actually gods to the Egyptians. They worshipped sheep. We're taking this sheep and we're offering it to our God in their face. That's a big deal. And we're not afraid to do it publicly. When you boil something, it's in your house, it's private, nobody really knows. But when you barbecue something outside, you roast it outside, there's smoke, there's scent, everybody knows. It's public. Think of July 4th. You're outside and you know who's having the barbecue. You know who's having the party on the block. Everybody knows about it. But we didn't care. Because even though the liberation didn't formally take place yet, we were living freely. We were living congruent with our values, offering to our God even while in Egypt. We didn't care what other people think, even though the liberation didn't take place yet. We weren't afraid that an Egyptian is going to come and say, "Oh, what are you doing?" No. Before the liberation even took place, we were living as free Jews, living our values publicly. You know who's a great example of this, by the way? Ben Shapiro. Whether or not you agree with his politics, that's not the point of this discussion over here. Ben Shapiro is a political commentator. He's all over television, all over the radio, all over the internet. He's a very public person, a very public personality. And he wears his kippah because he's a proud Jew, because he's free. He's liberated. Even though he finds himself in the diaspora, he's living as a free Jew. He's not oppressed by other people's opinions, doesn't care about what other people think of him. That's not what shapes him. What shapes him is his relationship with God. Totally free. He may be physically in Egypt, in the diaspora, but he's free. He was asked in an interview what motivated him to keep his kippah on and to never take it off. And his answer was, I never even thought of taking it off. It never even occurred to me. I'm a Jew. I'm proud of who I am. And this is me. This is what we do as Jews. While we're still in Egypt, we're still public and roasting in public rather than boiling privately. This is integral to our freedom. Because later, throughout history, we're still going to find ourselves in some form of Egypt, in some form of oppression. And it's important that we believe that tomorrow we're able to leave and that we start living freely now. We start living proudly now. Let me tell you a story. In the 1960s, there was born a committed anti-Semite in Jerusalem named Muhammad Tijani. Muhammad was a university professor at the Al-Quds University in Jerusalem. I'm probably butchering the name here. He's in a position of influence, a position of indoctrination. And he himself had a strong hatred toward the Jewish people. That's the way he was raised. And he bred that within his students. He taught people that you got to hate Jews. These are bad people. These are the enemies occupying territory, blah, 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 blah. Till one day there was a sudden shift. And he started appreciating the Jewish people and started being public about his appreciation for the Jewish people. The university was not happy about that. So much was his appreciation of the Jewish people and his empathy for the Jewish people that he took a group of students in 2014 to Auschwitz, to concentration camps, to show them what the Jewish people have endured, to show them what they have gone through, and to show them the beautiful people that they are. The university was furious. They fired him. And because of this, Mr. Mohammad Dajani actually made the news. And it was a big story in 2014. And they asked him, where did your sudden fondness of the Jewish people come from, being that you grew up a committed anti-Semite and Jew hater? He said that his father had recently become ill, was admitted to Hadassah Hospital, and had a Jewish oncologist. He had cancer, and he was nervous. Oh no, Jewish doctor. The doctor was clearly Jewish. He looked the part, had the kippah. Oh no, our enemy is going to be treating my father. There's no way he's going to give him good treatment. But to his surprise, the doctor treated his father with undiscriminatory respect. He didn't see him as an Arab or as an enemy or as a hater or as an anti-Semite. He saw him as a human being created in the image of God who is deserving of treatment, who is deserving of healing. And he treated my father with such respect. It opened my mind to the possibility that maybe these people are actually good people. Now, here's the interesting thing. Imagine this doctor wasn't public about his Judaism. Imagine this doctor wasn't comfortable in his own skin with his own Judaism. Imagine this doctor was not living as a liberated, free Jew, but under the oppression of other people's opinions and thinking, oh, maybe I shouldn't wear my kippah. He never would have had the impact that he would have had. Never would have happened. It's so important that we, as Jews, free ourselves from the opinion of others. And at the end of the day, as Jews, we are here to inspire our environment, not respond to our environment. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.